If you all would close your eyes for me, take a deep breath and exhale. Picture yourself at a train station. You're there alone, by yourself. The train pulls up and you get on board. You sit alone, and as the train starts to depart, you realize that you're going through this past year. Moment by moment, you take in everything you've witnessed through December, November, October, and then we keep going back to where we were last year, 2020. What a crazy year. The train pulls up and you get off. You see yourself, walk up to yourself and embrace one another. Give yourself encouragement, compassion, and love for getting through yourself this past year. What were some of the things that you saw? What was hard for you to watch? What were some moments that went by certainly too fast? Inhale, deep breath in, and exhale. Take this time to sit with yourself, because now it is time to depart on the train once again. You get back on the train, and here we are, back in your seat, gazing out the window, and this time we're headed back 1 year later, back to 2019. How did this feel? What did you see? Take a deep breath in and exhale. Here we are, pulling up to the next stop. You get out and you find yourself in that moment, in that time. And you see yourself. Again, give yourself that compassion, that love, that nurturing and encouragement that you needed at that point in your life. Take a step back and think. Give yourself the love that you would a person that you were caring for, a loved one. Give yourself the praise and acknowledgement for the things that made you happy. And give yourself comfort when you're hurting. Embrace yourself once again. Deep breath in and exhale. It's time to enter the train again. This time, you go back as far as you need to, through ever how many years your life encompasses, and really take in all that you need to take in. Deep breath in and exhale. Okay, you can finally open your eyes. So that was an excerpt from a women's workshop that I was a part of 3 years ago. As I lay in the sunny California backyard, the sun grazed my skin, the birds echoed in the background, and tears streamed down my face. I was surrounded by many women, but I felt so alone in that moment to think back about all the things I had been through in my life. It was hard to feel, to visualize, to acknowledge and accept all those things to bring me to where I am today. 10 years ago, I was a single mom. Oh man, the mom thing was crazy, let me tell you. 3 years ago, at that workshop, I had just been through one of the hardest years in my life. I had no job, and still in that moment, I could have never fathomed the moment that I would be today. Hello, my name is Crystal, and I sell weed for a living, legally. Marijuana, cannabis, weed. Wow, it's truly been a full circle story for me. So let's see. Where do we start? Well, let's start when I first found out about weed. I was 14 years old when I first started smoking. Is it a great thing? No, but it's where I started. I wasn't a great student. I actually skipped school a lot and barely graduated. But I was smart enough to where I still got into some amazing universities. Despite that, my parents were frustrated and disappointed nonetheless. It was very hard on us. And now, as a parent myself, I can only imagine the angst that I put my parents through. My mother, I remember one time we got into such a big fight, and all she could say was she was so disappointed. She wasn't even mad. It was, "Crystal, I am disappointed in you." And for me, that hurt just a little bit more than maybe it would for somebody else. And let me tell you why. My mother, she was actually my godmother. And I consider her this because she was this fairy godmother that really came out of nowhere. I had left my biological mother's home when I was 14 years old and didn't speak to her for 8 years. So to all of a sudden have this fairy godmother in my life come in and be disappointed in me, it was such a blow to my heart. Then, even though she helped me and exposed me to all of these new possibilities in life, I still, for whatever reason, continued on my path of this weed life. I then went on to get kicked out of my first dormitory at the University of Cincinnati. Finally, my own place, right? First time in college. But here I was a few months later getting kicked out because my neighbors down the hall complained of the smell. Again, can you imagine my parents' disappointment and frustration? So as we wander on a few more years aimlessly into my life, struggling, trying to figure out what to do as a young mom, I then one night found myself being arrested for the possession of marijuana. Yes, me, little old me, I know you would never suspect such a thing. But would you believe the story if I told you that this all happened after I woke up from a nap? You heard it right, a nap. One of my favorite things in the world, can you only imagine, waking up to a nightmare was a complete understatement. We were traveling along, my boyfriend and I, who is now my husband, to Indianapolis for the 2012 Super Bowl. My husband had just booked one of his DJs to DJ the NFL Association party. I was excited. We were looking forward to having a fun time. I mean, I'm no sports fan, but I think the Super Bowl can pretty much count as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I was sure excited to be able to partake in that. Didn't happen. Once in a lifetime, yeah, I don't want to go to jail again. So let me tell you what happened. On our way, we got pulled over, and we were in this rural part of Indiana, and they tore through my car like they were busting an international drug shipment. Like I had so much drugs in the car, and I didn't. It was just a little small amount. 3.5 grams to be exact. And it was to the point where they called 6 cruisers a drug dog, and they had separated my husband and I on the side of the highway and below freezing temperatures. Traumatic, yes. I was scared, I was nervous, I was absolutely crying at this point, imagining what is going to happen, why would this happen to us, and what are they going to do to him? But then things got way worse. And instead of what they were going to do to him, they did to me. Even though my husband claimed the marijuana is his, they took me to jail because it was my car. Yeah, so that was not the Super Bowl trip of a lifetime I was expecting. But that's where I was at, and all of the moment I can think of was my 3-year-old son back at home with my father, And when was the next time I was going to be able to hold him? It was such a scary moment. At that time, the only thing I could think of is if I could choose to be anybody else, I would close my eyes and be someone else. From that point, I wish life got better, but it was full of hopelessness, anxiety. That was my new normal. I was fighting a daily battle of depression that I just couldn't get myself out of. I wish, again, things I could say got better, but anxiety and depression plagued me for years. And I just wanted to be happy, right? If you could choose to be who you wanted to be, what would you do? I just want to be happy, financially stable, away from the depression monster, get rid of this anxiety and stress that I carry with me daily. That's it. That's what I wanted. So, if you were to be able to choose who you wanted to be, what would you do? 2017, I was living in New York City. Oh, wow, I was so excited. New York City from Ohio, let me tell you, I'm a big city girl at heart. But as I thought my life was going up and into this amazing, amazing new chapter of my life, it once again came crumbling down. All within a 2-week span of time, my life completely fell apart. But this time, it was full of major blows, one after another. I found out my husband was having an affair. My father was in the emergency room. And the worst of all, my oldest son's father was trying to take my son away from me by using my marijuana charge against me. I was devastated. All these things, one after another. It was just too much to bear, too much to handle. But there I was. Reality set in, and guess what? I was not special. I did not get to bypass any of life's hard lessons. If you do, wow, I'm so happy for you. But I definitely did not get to do that. It was hard to accept all these things, these new truths in my life, to sit with it and realize, hey, this is where I'm at. If at that moment I could have chosen to be anywhere else or anyone else, of course, it would be a different place and a different person. But again, as reality set in, I realized I was only me. Not only could I not choose to be somebody else, but the only thing I really had left was me. So, my realization truly was, if I got to be anybody in my life, who would it be? Let's fast forward to present day. So, like I said, I sell cannabis for a living legally. 2 summers ago, I taught my mother how to roll up some weed and microdose on edibles because she now deals with some pains. And using medicinal cannabis helps her alleviate those pains. And I can say she's happy as a mom for me doing what I do. I also have come back to the University of Cincinnati after being kicked out of my first dorm to actually come back and speak and guest lecture for the Intro to Cannabis class twice. It was such an honor to be able to share my experience and knowledge of social equity and social justice with these young minds, as it is such an important place in the cannabis space, especially here today in today's society. Not only that, I have been a part of the team to open and operate the largest and most successful medical marijuana dispensary in the state of Ohio. It's been such an honor to make history with that team. And I simultaneously co-founded my own company with my business partner, to us going into different markets across the country and around the world. And one of them just so happens to be the same state where my oldest son's father resides. So that's my full circle. It's gotten me far, and I'm so happy and excited to be where I'm at. Not only do I get to make a living, I get to provide for my family, but I get to change lives every day and help communities in the most special ways possible. So I know you're thinking about, okay, you're waiting for me to tell you where this aha moment came from. What was that one thing that really changed my life? But the realization that I had is there really is no aha moment. You just have to choose yourself. At any point in time, you can pick who you want to be. You can make that choice, and you have the rest of your life to figure it out. But start now. Do it now. Choose yourself, because there is no other choice. And things happen, good and bad. None of us are exempt from any of it. So, if you would, please close your eyes with me once more. Inhale deep and exhale. Picture your most ideal self. Not the way that you look, but how do you feel? Picture yourself laughing and smiling. Where are you at? What are you doing? Find that person and have that person talk to your current self. Give you that compassion, encouragement, and love that you need to get where you're going so you can get going. Embrace yourself and get ready for the new birth of who you are. Thank you.